It was just supposed to be a quick food run for Kodak Black. Nothing more, nothing less. But the moment the cashier whipped out his phone, everything flipped. Within minutes, chaos exploded inside the restaurant. Gunshots tore through the air, and Kodak sprinted for his life. But did he actually make it out unharmed? You've got to see this wild footage for yourself. This is the Pizza Hut incident, when fame turns deadly fast. But before diving into the madness that went down inside that Pizza Hut on February 15, 2026, you need to understand something crucial about Kodak Black's world.
No. Oh my God.
His life ain't normal, not even close. When regular people like us walk into a restaurant, we're thinking about food, plain and simple. Maybe we're deciding if we want that extra cheese or if the garlic knots are worth a few extra bucks. Some of us are even arguing with ourselves over whether to get a medium or a large pizza, knowing good and well it's all getting eaten anyway. But for Kodak Black, every single step outside is a gamble, a life or death calculation every single time. This man's been carrying a target on his back for almost a decade. Fame, street history, past beefs, it all follows him wherever he goes. There's no such thing as just grabbing food in his world. That night, Kodak, real name Bill Kahan Capri, walked into that Pizza Hut looking calm, cool, and casual. It seemed like just another late-night pickup. Standing right beside him was Miranda Johnson, the mother of two of his kids. The two looked like any normal couple waiting on their food, laughing quietly, unaware of what was about to go down next. The place looked ordinary, chill even, until everything flipped in seconds. It looked like any regular late-night fast food joint.
Kodak, I love you, bro. Bro.
Dim lights, quiet space, barely a couple of people around. Nothing about it screamed danger or drama. Kodak was dressed chill, simple fit, cap pulled low, nothing flashy at all. Just a man and the mother of his kids grabbing some food before heading home. But that calm vibe, it vanished in seconds. Because the second the cashier locked eyes with Kodak, everything flipped. Fast. The whole room's energy changed instantly, like somebody hit a switch. Oh my God, you could practically hear the shock burst out. That sound? That's the sound of someone's brain completely short-circuiting on the spot. Instead of finishing the order, the cashier fumbled, then boom, phone out, camera rolling, voice shaking with excitement. In a blink, this wasn't a worker behind the counter anymore. This was a fan in full meltdown mode.
I'm gonna serve you food. I'll serve you food, please.
The professional vibe? Gone. The cashier had transformed into a die-hard supporter who couldn't hold it together. You could feel the energy shift. This wasn't about food anymore. It was about Kodak. But Kodak didn't play along. He didn't smile, didn't pose, didn't say a word for the camera. Nah, he did the opposite. He took a slow step back, eyes on the exit, body tense. In that instant, he made a decision. Forget the food, forget the order. He was out. You could see it in his body language. Man was done with the whole situation. The food could sit right there on the counter for all he cared. Kodak wasn't about to stand there while someone filmed him up close without consent, especially not in a public place where anything could happen. Now you might be thinking, come on, it's just a fan, just a phone, what's the harm? But that's exactly where most people get it twisted. Because in Kodak's world, a phone can mean danger, real danger. You can't forget what happened to PnB Rock. When Kodak sees a camera pop out in a restaurant, he isn't thinking about clout or fame. He's thinking survival. Every move could be the difference between walking out safe or not walking out at all.
An online feud between rappers Kodak Black and Jack Boy is now being blamed for bullets flying in Sanford. Both of these rappers are from the same neighborhood down in South Florida, and the shooting happened after a concert here at the Barn last year. And
Kodak wasn't thinking about going viral. He was thinking about staying alive. Every move he made was about survival, not attention. And people online caught that instantly. Comments flooded social media warning, this is exactly how they got PnB Rock. Others pointed out that Yak wasn't taking no chances. They knew this wasn't paranoia, it was reality. Having your location blasted to millions without your say-so can turn deadly real quick. But then came the twist nobody saw coming. Just as Kodak was seconds away from slipping out that Pizza Hut door into the Florida night, the cashier did something that froze him mid-step. Kodak, no, not for real. That panic in the cashier's voice said it all. Pure regret and fear mixed in one breath. In that instant, they realized they had gone too far. Their excitement had blown right past the line of professionalism, and now the artist they admired was walking away because of it. Then came the stammer. "Bro, I'm gonna serve you food." That small, shaky plea hit different. You could hear the guilt, the embarrassment, the wish to fix it. And somehow, that moment of honesty cooled everything down. Kodak stopped, hesitated for just a beat, then turned back toward the counter. He pointed at the menu calmly, double-checking his order like nothing ever happened. Just like that, what could have become another viral meltdown or tragic headline turned peaceful again. The tension faded fast. The vibe softened. Kodak finished his order, and before leaving, even gave the cashier a fist bump. The two snapped a few quick photos, smiling like the scare never even happened. But the moment still left a heavy question hanging in the air. Was the cashier wrong, or was Kodak overreacting? Who was really at fault here? The truth isn't simple. It's layered, complicated, and rooted deep in Kodak's past. Because to understand why Kodak Black moved the way he did that night, you've got to rewind time, all the way back to Pompano Beach, back to the Golden Acres housing projects, back to when a young kid named Dyson Octave, before the fame, before the name Kodak Black, learned one harsh lesson. The world was never built to keep him safe. That early fear, that instinct to protect himself never left, not even inside a Pizza Hut. When you really dig into Kodak Black's story, it all starts to make sense. Why a simple camera phone in a fast food joint can feel like a threat, like a loaded weapon aimed straight at him. His life built him into a man who learned early that trust can get you hurt. Kodak Black didn't grow up in comfort or calm, not even close. Born Dyson Octave on June 11, 1997, in Pompano Beach, Florida, Kodak came up in the rough streets of the Golden Acres housing projects, raised by a single Haitian immigrant mother just trying to keep the lights on. His father wasn't around, the neighborhood was hard, and the opportunities were slim to none. For Kodak, survival wasn't optional, it was the only goal. There was no cushion, no plan B, no what if this doesn't work, just the streets, cold, demanding, and unforgiving. You either made something happen or got swallowed by the system. He's even talked about those early days, saying he only ever saw two real paths in front of him: sell drugs with a gun on his hip or rap. That was it. Those were his choices, and he hadn't even finished elementary school yet. School was never a safe space for him either. He got expelled in 5th grade for fighting and later arrested for auto theft while still in middle school. While other kids were worried about recess or report cards, Kodak was already dealing with police, court dates, and the harsh reality of being a young black boy in South Florida. The system wasn't built to protect him, it was built to process him.
But through all that chaos, something powerful called out to him: music. Even with trouble all around, he found peace in words, rhythm, and raw emotion. Writing became his outlet, his weapon, his escape route. He'd take all that pain, all that anger, and flip it into lyrics that hit hard. By the time he was 6 years old, he had already started calling himself Black. And by 12, he was rapping with local groups like Brutal Youngins and the Coleons. These weren't fancy studios or big setups. These were trap houses, tiny rooms, street corners, and makeshift studios held together with duct tape and dreams. Every beat, every verse was a survival act. And what made Kodak different? He had drive. He didn't just want to sound tough, he wanted to sound sharp. He'd sit and read dictionaries and thesauruses just to expand his vocabulary. Imagine that, a kid surrounded by chaos, teaching himself new words so he could paint his story better with them. That's the foundation of who Kodak Black became, a mix of street smarts, raw pain, and an unshakable instinct to survive. And that same instinct, it's exactly why a camera phone in a Pizza Hut can make him tense up like it's a threat, because to him, sometimes it is. Those same gritty spaces where people were weighing product and dodging cops, that's where Kodak started shaping his sound. And before long, the music hit. His grind started paying off big time. His breakthrough came with mixtapes like Project Baby in 2013 and the viral hit No Flockin' in 2014, the track that took over the internet and even caught the attention of Drake, who gave him a major cosign.
Suddenly, the kid from Golden Acres wasn't just another local rapper. He was the next big thing. By 2015, Kodak had officially signed with Atlantic Records, and his career exploded. Albums like Paintin' Pictures shot straight to #3 on the Billboard 200, while Dying to Live debuted at #1. The charts couldn't ignore him. Songs like Tunnel Vision and the 6-times platinum hit ZZ were everywhere, blasting out of cars, clubs, and phones across the country. Kodak Black wasn't just repping South Florida anymore. He was a national name, a headline act, a movement. Everybody knew his voice, his face, his story. But with that kind of fame came a dark truth. The spotlight that raised him up could also burn him down. Fame shines bright, but it also exposes everything. And Kodak learned that lesson the hard way. With every hit song came another headline, not about music, but about trouble. While the world was vibing to his tracks, Kodak was getting arrested again and again, his freedom constantly hanging by a thread. In 2015, he was arrested in Pompano Beach for robbery, battery, false imprisonment, and cannabis possession. Then 2016 brought even more charges: weapons, marijuana, and even an armed robbery case in Broward County, followed by a serious first-degree criminal conduct accusation in South Carolina. It felt like every time he got out, something else pulled him right back in. The pattern continued. 2017 brought probation violations and more jail time. Then in 2018, the charges stacked higher: child neglect, firearm theft, and possession of a weapon by a convicted felon. And just when it seemed like things couldn't get any worse, 2019 hit with the blow that nearly ended his career: federal weapons charges that got him sentenced to 46 months in prison. Think about that for a second. Almost 4 years behind bars for a man in his early 20s whose entire career depended on being seen, being heard, and staying active. One moment, he's performing on stage to sold-out crowds, and the next, he's locked away, watching everything he built from a cell. It was a crushing reality, the kind of sentence that could have ended it all for good. Then, out of nowhere, something nobody saw coming happened. In January 2021, Kodak Black's prison sentence was suddenly commuted, freeing him after he had served only about 10 months behind bars. It was the kind of miracle twist people only see in movies, not something that usually happens to a rapper from the rough streets of Pompano Beach. For a moment, it looked like Kodak had been handed a brand new start. But freedom didn't mean peace, not even close. The legal system wasn't finished with him yet. By January 2022, Kodak found himself arrested for trespassing, and just a few months later, in July, things escalated again. During a traffic stop, police discovered 31 oxycodone pills and nearly $75,000 in cash, leading to drug trafficking and possession charges. That case dragged on endlessly, no trial date confirmed, stretching deep into 2025. Then came December 2023, when Kodak was arrested once more in Plantation, Florida, this time accused of cocaine possession. But when the lab results came back, everything flipped. The so-called cocaine was actually prescribed oxycodone, and the entire case was thrown out. By February 2024, a federal judge sentenced him to time served for a probation violation, and by April, his last tampering charge was dismissed too. When you look at the bigger picture, over a dozen arrests, multiple prison sentences, a commuted sentence, and court cases that dragged on for more than half a decade, one fact becomes crystal clear. Every single time Kodak Black steps into public, eyes are on him. Whether it's fans hoping for a selfie, police looking for trouble, or the media waiting for the next headline, somebody's always watching. So really, is it any surprise that when a cashier at Pizza Hut pulled out a phone and started recording, Kodak's first reaction was to get out of there? Can anyone really blame him for seeing that camera lens and instantly thinking of the worst-case scenario? But here's where it gets even more personal, because standing right next to him that night wasn't just any woman, it was Miranda Johnson, and her presence told a whole other story, filled with history, conflict, and heartbreak. Miranda Johnson, just 23 years old, shares 2 children with Kodak, a daughter born around 2022 and a son born in 2024. Their relationship has been far from smooth. In August 2025, Miranda filed a custody and support case in Broward County accusing Kodak of domestic violence and unpaid child support. The filings included serious claims, saying he had physically hurt her during pregnancy, leading to a dislocated jaw. It painted a heavy, complicated picture, one where fame, pressure, and personal struggles were all crashing into each other. So when that Pizza Hut scene went down, cameras flashing, voices rising, and tension thick in the air, it wasn't just a viral clip. It was the latest moment in a life that's been lived under constant watch, constant judgment, and constant fight, both in the streets and at home. No criminal charges were ever filed against Kodak Black in connection with those serious allegations, but the drama didn't stop there. Miranda Johnson ended up facing her own legal trouble too. She was arrested for vandalism after allegedly smashing up Kodak's luxury cars, and also hit with a misdemeanor battery charge from a brawl that reportedly broke out at their daughter's birthday party. It was chaos on both sides, and the headlines were wild. But by September 3, 2025, things finally seemed to calm down. The custody battle was officially settled with an agreed parenting plan, and every related lawsuit was dismissed. It looked like they had finally found some common ground. So when people saw Kodak and Miranda standing side by side in that Pizza Hut just 5 months later, it said everything without words. After all the tension, all the accusations, all the pain, they were trying again. It showed that maybe, just maybe, they were choosing peace for the sake of their kids. But the internet didn't care about any of that. Nobody online was talking about co-parenting or personal growth. They wanted the clip, the moment, the chaos. And what happened next proved exactly why Kodak Black has every right to be paranoid about cameras everywhere he goes.
Because once that video hit the web, it blew up instantly. There's no other way to say it. It exploded. Within just 24 hours of hitting TikTok, the clip spread like wildfire. It jumped to X, formerly Twitter, through viral accounts like My Mixtapes, Tease, and Daily Loud, all of them posting it with funny captions, turning a tense moment into meme material. The engagement numbers went crazy. Just Daily Loud's post alone racked up over 5,975 likes, 165 reposts, and 125 comments by February 17th. And that was just one account. From there, the video snowballed across Instagram Reels, Facebook shares, and YouTube Shorts. Every single platform had a version of it, each one blowing up in its own way. And people's reactions? A mix of laughter, shock, and total disbelief. Some users thought the whole thing was flat out hilarious, calling it one of the funniest viral clips of the year. One user, @thabo.badel, even called it pure comedy gold, saying the cashier's reaction was a once-in-a-lifetime moment and giving Kodak props for handling it like a champ. And honestly, from a certain angle, they weren't wrong. There was something funny about watching a full-grown adult behind a register completely lose control just because a celebrity walked in to order a pizza. The memes came flying fast. People clipped it, stitched it, remixed it, and added their own commentary until it became a full-blown social media storm. It was classic internet behavior, turning a tense, real-life moment into viral entertainment. But behind all that humor and hype was something Kodak knows all too well. Viral fame can bring real danger, and every camera pointed at him can turn into a ghost from his past. But underneath all the laughter and memes, a much darker conversation started bubbling up. While some people were joking, others, like @William2581118, were asking the real question: is Kodak just paranoid, or has he simply had enough? And that one question, as simple as it sounds, hits right at the core of what it means to be famous in hip-hop in 2026. Because to really understand Kodak's reaction, you have to rewind the clock all the way back to September 12th, 2022, at Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles in South Los Angeles. That's the day the hip-hop world lost PnB Rock, and nothing has been the same since. Rakim Hashim Allen,
better known as PnB Rock, was only 30 years old. He had a fiancée, kids, hit records, and platinum plaques. A man who'd climbed his way to success. That afternoon, he walked into Roscoe's for a simple meal and never walked out alive. According to reports, a man named Freddie Lee Trone orchestrated the robbery by sending his 17-year-old son to carry it out. The attack was quick, brutal, and senseless. Surveillance footage showed another man, Tremont Jones, casually fist-bumping PnB Rock at 12:31 p.m., possibly spotting the jewelry worth nearly $500,000 and alerting Trone. Less than an hour later, at 1:16 p.m., the shooter entered the restaurant wearing a ski mask, gun drawn, demanding the jewelry. A short struggle broke out, and then gunfire. PnB Rock was hit in the chest and back. He collapsed on the floor while terrified customers ran for cover. He was pronounced dead within the hour. Trone was later convicted in 2024 of murder, conspiracy, and robbery, receiving 31 years to life in prison. Jones got 12 years for his role in the setup. Justice, at least in the legal sense, was served, but the loss was permanent. PnB Rock's kids grew up without their dad. His fiancée lost her partner, and the rap community was left with a wound that still hasn't healed and probably never will. That's the backdrop for every rapper alive today, and the real reason Kodak Black's reaction inside that Pizza Hut made so much sense to those who know the game. When Kodak saw that cashier lift their phone, he wasn't seeing a fan trying to show love. He was seeing a potential threat. He wasn't thinking about clout or likes. He was thinking about location tags, ambushes, setups, and headlines he's read 100 times before. Because in today's world, all it takes is one post, one live video, one careless upload, and your location is public before you can blink. And Kodak knows that better than most. He's been through this kind of tension before. Back in 2022, right after PnB Rock's murder, Kodak went on Instagram Live and straight up checked a fan for filming near his car. His words were clear. "You don't see what just happened to PnB Rock? So why you recording me?" He called the fan out for lying about their intentions and made his stance crystal clear. No random recording, no exceptions.
To Kodak, that wasn't about ego. It was about survival. He's lived too much, seen too much, and buried too many peers to ignore that kind of risk. And he's been consistent ever since. At the 2025 Kentucky Derby, when a woman aggressively tried to force a photo, Kodak didn't argue, didn't yell, he just walked away. Silent, calm, and done with it. That's how he moves now. Cautious, guarded, and always alert. Because for him, fame isn't freedom, it's exposure. And in a world where one wrong move can go viral in seconds, a camera phone can feel like a gun aimed right at your life. At shows, Kodak Black has been hit with bottles, and instead of backing down, he's gone live on the spot, urging the crowd to handle whoever threw it. He's confronted fans face to face for disrespect, clapped back at trolls online, and even exposed people who tried to test him just for clout. The pattern is clear. Kodak Black doesn't play about his personal space of safety. He's been through too much to let anyone cross that line unchecked. But even with all that intensity, the Pizza Hut moment showed a side of Kodak that people rarely get to see, the human side. Because when that chaos first broke out, Kodak could have easily just walked out and never looked back. He could have jumped in his car, peeled off, and ordered food somewhere else. But he didn't. He stopped. He listened. Something in that cashier's voice, the panic, the regret, got through to him. He could tell the person wasn't being disrespectful anymore, just scared and sorry. And in that second, Kodak made a choice. He stayed. He finished his order, dapped the cashier up, smiled for a few photos with the staff, and walked out peacefully. That's not the move of a man ruled by paranoia. That's the move of someone who's learned how to tell the difference between real danger and human mistake. Kodak Black has lived too much life to confuse one for the other. 2 days later, Kodak took to social media and addressed the critics straight on. People were online trying to drag him for being seen at Pizza Hut with Miranda Johnson, but Kodak wasn't having it. He fired back with his trademark raw energy, talking about what really mattered to him, his kids. He said he'd spent Valentine's Day buying gifts for his children, that he was just out grabbing food with the mother of his kids, doing something completely normal.
and he made sure everyone knew exactly where he stood. Calling himself the zookeeper, he laughed off the negativity and shut down the hate. His message came through loud, clear, and unfiltered. Pure Kodak. He wasn't out chasing attention. He was out living life on his own terms, taking care of his family, being present for his kids, and trying to enjoy the little things like anyone else. And that's what made the whole Pizza Hut incident so powerful once you really look at it. It was never just about a pizza order or a viral moment. It wasn't about a cashier losing composure or even about Kodak's fame directly. It was about something deeper. It showed the reality that artists, especially in hip-hop, live with every single day. How something as simple as grabbing food can turn into a public spectacle in seconds. How cameras, clout, and constant pressure can turn ordinary moments into viral flashpoints. It's the same reason other artists, like Chappelle, R, and so many others, have had to publicly beg fans to respect boundaries. Because in today's world, being famous isn't just about talent, it's about surviving the spotlight that never turns off. And for Kodak Black, that night in Pizza Hut wasn't just another headline. It was proof that no matter how wild life gets, he's still trying to do the simple things, keep his cool, protect his peace, and stay focused on what matters most, his family and his future.
To stop what she called predatory behavior disguised as fandom, some voices in hip-hop have been speaking up louder than ever, and they're not wrong. Fat Joe once said rappers were an endangered species, and nobody laughed, because deep down, everyone knew he was right. The line between admiration and intrusion has never been thinner, and for today's artists, that line can mean life or death. Social media has completely collapsed the distance between celebrities and their fans. A single post, a single tag, and suddenly millions of people have access to an artist's every move. These digital connections, these parasocial relationships, make fans feel close to stars who don't even know their names. And while some of those bonds are genuine, sometimes even inspiring, others cross a line that can never be uncrossed. Just ask the families of the ones we've already lost. PnB Rock's loved ones know it. Pop Smoke's family knows it. Drakeo the Ruler's family knows it. All of them saw firsthand what happens when fame meets exposure, when a location tag, a live post, or a viral clip turns deadly. And then this Kodak Black, a man who survived shootings, prison, betrayal, and the constant weight of being watched. A man who's lived the nightmare that comes with fame and somehow still finds a way to keep going. If anyone in hip-hop understands how dangerous attention can be, it's him. That's what makes the Pizza Hut moment so haunting once you really think about it. Because for Kodak, that wasn't just another awkward fan encounter. It was a split-second calculation that could have determined whether he walked out safe or didn't walk out at all. When you've seen what he's seen, the question isn't, why did he react that way? The real question is, how could he not? So the next time you see your favorite artist out in public, before you reach for your phone, before you start recording, before you tag their location and blast it to the world, ask yourself one thing: is that post worth someone's life? Because for Kodak Black, walking into a Pizza Hut on a quiet February night, that question wasn't hypothetical, it wasn't deep or philosophical, it wasn't something you debate with your friends online. It was real, it was immediate. It was the thin line between finishing his meal and becoming another name on a list that's already far, far too long. That's the tragic truth about fame in this generation. The higher an artist climbs, the less room they have to breathe. Fame doesn't just bring fortune, it brings exposure, pressure, and eyes watching every move. And while the fans only see the hits, the awards, and the headlines, what they don't see is the constant fear that one random encounter could end everything. So as we close this story, remember this: behind every viral clip, every trending name, and every funny moment online, there's a person trying to live, to breathe, to exist safely in a world that refuses to give them privacy. Kodak Black's story isn't just another celebrity drama, it's a warning, a reminder that fame without boundaries becomes danger, that attention without respect becomes violence, and that a phone pointed at the wrong time can change a life forever. So if you made it this far, take a second to think about what this really means for artists, for fans, and for the culture that connects them both. And if you want more deep breakdowns like this, stories that dig into the truth behind the headlines, make sure to like this video,
subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who needs to hear it. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Do you think Kodak overreacted, or was he just protecting himself the only way he knows? Either way, one thing's for sure, in hip-hop today, staying alive isn't about chart positions or platinum plaques. It's about staying one step ahead of the danger that fame brings with it. Click one of the cards on your screen to watch more videos like this. And remember, respect your favorite artist's space, because sometimes that respect can literally save a life.